Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the evil that men do. Father God, I pray and ask that you help me to have mercy on others the same way I would want you to have mercy on me. Father God, I also ask that you help me to be quick to forgive and slow to get angry. Amen, amen, amen. These young dudes out here don't respect shit until you put the barrel in their ear and let the text spit. I just might catch a case on my next hit, remove their whole face on some special effect shit. So show respect, Drake, or I'ma have a flashback. Digging through the dresser like fuck it, where my mask at? Then mash back with the banger and damage shit and say fuck everything I learned in anger management. Hop back on some east side managed shit and push a nigga's top back when I let the cannon spit. Start planning shit, premeditation. I'm in love with the streets again, rededication. Casket or cremation when I shoot you down. I was built for the smoke like a hookah lounge. I keep big shit that sound like a bazooka sound, and I shoot quicker than ain't gotta be a hoop around. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride, 3 straps, ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps, ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Gun on me, it ain't never for show, homie. I'm far from a bully, but I'm never a hoe. Get out of line, my Beretta will blow. Real talk, we can take the beef wherever we go. I bring it to your front door like I'm Uber Eats. I guarantee you listen up when this Ruger speaks. Plus I maneuver through these streets like a ghost, and I'm handy with the heat. I cook a nigga like a roast. On me, homie, this is not a boast. I will still come through, boy, and stop a nigga's post. Play him close, man, Eric will ease it. Quickly off the waistband, man, and Eric will squeeze it. Leave you niggas laid out dead or paraplegic. Niggas playing in these streets while I'm very strategic. I come to your house dressed like the gas man. Shoot you 9 times, leave you stretched by the trash can. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. I don't put shit on Facebook, I just holler in person. Put the pistol in your mouth while you're hollering in cursing. All that shit you kept rehearsing and put on your live, got you clapped with the big 4-5. You bitch nigga, if you tell me to pull up, I'ma do that. That nigga who was whooping first nigga that I shoot at. Ski mask on my face, bystanders be like, who that? I ain't with the talking, bitch boy, I thought you knew that. Leave his brains where my shoe at and bounce like I'm on a trampoline. Leave you laid out, nigga, like you camping on the scene. If you want something sweet, grab a peach or tangerine. Niggas won't smoke, well fuck it, I'ma let them handle steam. AR with the beam, you see the red dot? We tug on this trigger, nigga, it'll make your head pop. Blood pouring down to your shoes, call it Red Sox. Your brains hanging all over your shoulders like some dreadlocks. Expect the gang of dead off if they ever cross the line. The Lord said in the Bible, oh, revenge is mine. So I'm just trying to find a righteous path between the two. Before I lose control and do the shit I used to do. This being humble shit is new. I'm trying to turn the other cheek, but I ain't never been a bitch, so watch your mouth when you speak. Your mercy's what I seek, so I pray on bended knees. Don't let me get the K with the extended clip and squeeze. Lord, please. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps.
Y'all know that's Brother Eric, 16 to Life. Y'all know y'all can go over there, get his music, get his everything, get everything that he's got going on. You can go over to his YouTube page. I think he's doing a live stream right now, so don't go now. Go look at his live stream later. But those of y'all, I thank y'all have been with me all day. Man, we had a long day today. Shout out to Risa Mills. Shout out to OG Patrice in the house. Shout out to all my hardcores. Thank you, everybody, for the last stream. And if you got enough time to hang out this stream, Dr. Bay just checked in, but I don't think her devices are working too good. The good doctor's in the house. What up, Dr. Hood? Yeah, so I don't think her stuff was hanging in, so we're gonna wait for her to tap in. What y'all think about that last stream? Holy smokes! I'm telling you, man, the Oracle, I met her on We On Lock. If you haven't already checked out We On Lock. Oh, you know what's another good? Let me tell y'all another good stream to check out, man. Another, if you're just looking for good streams to check out, there's another good stream called Easily Rigged, man. That's with Be Easy and Big Rigs. That is a good stream, man. You guys should check that out, man. Two good brothers, and they're on the Knowledge and Relationship Network over there. Go over to Knowledge and Relationships and check out that show, Easily Rigged, man. Good show, man. Good show. Good show. The first show they had, man, it was a really good show, man. Really good show, as far as I was concerned, at least. But check that out. What y'all think, man? The Oracle, man, she got to dug her heels in a little bit sometimes, right? But she's a good sister, man. Shout out to that sister. Good sister, man. Good sister. You know, I'm fortunate, man, you know, that for whatever reason, God is blessing me to stay sugar free. I'm pretty much around a good group of people, man. You know, shout out to you guys, man. I'm really around a good group of people, and everything is going good. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, if we can get Dr. Bay on, we can talk about homelessness. You know what I mean? She was, I guess, she popped in, but then her camera wasn't on or whatever, so I guess she popped out. But yeah, man, we want to talk about homelessness. What y'all think about homelessness? What's the issue? Why should we deal with this homelessness issue? What should we do? Dr. Bay is an advocate for homelessness. As a matter of fact, she is an advocate for specifically Black homelessness. She really focuses. I mean, she'll help anybody, but she really focuses on the Black homelessness and trying to get that situation taken care of. But what do y'all think? Is homelessness a big problem for you in your life? Where I used to work in West Los Angeles. I don't know if you guys are familiar with West Los Angeles, but West Los Angeles is a pretty upscale part of Los Angeles, right? It's upper scale. It's closer going toward the beach. Got cities like Santa Monica, Venice, Westchester, those type of cities out there, and they're right. Most of them are right against the beach, right? So pretty upscale places, but they got a lot of homelessness, especially in Venice, right there on Venice Beach. It's a real serious problem over there, right? The homeless issue. Why is the homeless issue a serious problem over there? Because they usually will try to cook next to people's houses. They will use a bathroom next to people's houses, right? They would, all right, and sometimes some of them are addicted to some type of narcotic, and so they will usually commit crimes over there, right? Prostitution, stealing, burglaries, out and out robbing people out there, right? A lot of tourists go out there to Venice Beach is a big tourist area, right? So they go out there and they try to rob some of the tourists. I mean, it's a crazy situation, right? OG Patrice says there should be no excuse for homelessness in America. There shouldn't be, right? I'm gonna show y'all something. They got something that they're doing out here in Venice. Well, they are doing that down the beach. I think they're doing something in Venice too, where they're trying to get these homeless people to be in the be off the street, right? Because it's also a health risk, right? Health risk. Let's see. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Let's see. Okay. So it's a health risk, right? They're trying to get these people. Oh, okay, I think Dr. Bay just popped in. Let me see if I can get it. Oh man, Dr. Bay, I can see you, but I can't hear you or see you, Dr. Bay. So you need to make sure. Let me tell her real quick that she needs to make sure that her devices are on. You know, it's not letting you in. Well, The browser has blocked your mic and camera. Why? I don't understand why she's saying she's blocked. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Dr. Bay. Let me do this. Let me do this. They will need to connect their mic and cam before you can add them to the stream. All right, Dr. Bay, you're saying that your camera is not. Make sure your camera is connected. Camera is on and mic is on. Your settings. Oh man, I'm sorry. I got Dr. Bay here, but I can't pull her up. It's not letting me pull her up because it needs to recognize a camera or a mic. So I just hit her up, make sure that her thing is all set up. But anyway, let me show y'all this picture real quick, man. No, I want to show you this. Yeah, let me do it this way. Okay, you see these houses here? These are houses that they have in Redondo Beach, where they have houses that are for homeless people. They have houses for homeless people. You know, we should have did. Me and Dr. Bay should have did. We should have did a dry run through because I told her to do it on her phone. But I'm gonna tell her to use someone else's phone. Send a link to someone else's phone, another phone. And see if it works. All right. Anyway, it shouldn't be no homeless in America, right? But we have homelessness in America, right? And we have more land we could house every person, but because there's such a premium on housing, it's hard to have everybody have a house because you have to compete financially for homes, right? And some people are not able to compete financially for a home, right? I just saw in Miami they have a two-bedroom apartment, $3,200 a month. $3,200 a month for 2 bedrooms. That is crazy. That is crazy. How can you live and pay $3,200 a month for an apartment? I mean, that's just crazy. That's crazy. But these rents are going up, but people are paying them. That's the problem. People are paying these high rents. So unfortunately, a lot of the people are getting stuck. Now you got to pay this, and I'm just waiting for Dr. Bay to work out her technical difficulties if she is going to do that. So so far, I think we still swinging at it. If not, I'm gonna give about another 20 minutes, and then we probably call it a day, y'all. I'm sorry, and I apologize to her because I should have made sure she could bounce in. I should have test run her first, but I just assumed that she'd be able to tap in. But anyway, yeah, homelessness, man, is something that we want to stamp out, right? Now, I don't know if you guys have been to downtown Los Angeles, but I mean that is the capital of the U.S. of homelessness, man. Well, a lot of it is in West LA too, and the reason why it's a lot of homelessness in West LA. There's a big VA complex out there in West Los Angeles, big VA complex, and a lot of the homeless, I would say at least probably 50, 40, or 50% of them are vets. That is on top of being homeless. That's a crying shame that people go over there and give and they're willing to give their lives for us, and then we got them out there living on the street, homeless, right? Because we're not assisting them with living life after military combat out there in Iraq, where they had to do some things that they probably don't even want to think about. But they had to do some things, man. You know, you have to do some things that you don't want to, you can't talk about. You can't tell your family something like that because you know it drove you crazy just doing it, and it's going to drive somebody else crazy if you just repeat it. So you can't say nothing to nobody. Here's Dr. Bay again. Dr. Bay. Oh man. Oh my gosh, man. See, I think what she got. I think her phone is probably not up to speed with linking in. That's why I'm trying to tell her to switch to another phone because I don't think it's her phone. Her personal phone might be not be up to switching to this type of situation. But Dr. Bay, if you can find a laptop, I emailed you everything. I text you everything. If you can, you know, forward that text to another phone and tap in from there, that might work better. If you got a son or daughter laying around, you use their phone. Anyway, we'll wait for you for a little while longer, Dr. Bay. All right, so yeah, what was I talking about? Well, anyway, I was talking about homelessness and how. Oh, I was talking about the vets. That we got vets out there on the street out here in West Los Angeles. They had a park. I had a whole park they took over. They took over a whole park because they sanitation had to come in there and kick them all out with the police and get them all out of this park and put a fence all around this park. Now you can only get in when somebody opened up the fence. It was a little league park. And, the homeless cats took it all over, man. They were sleeping all over there. And most of them were vets because why? The VA was right up the street. So when they had to go and get their medicine or whatever, they just get up and walk over to the VA and get their medicine, right? Shouldn't be that way, right? Shouldn't be like nobody, especially a vet. What is it? Why should a vet be on the street, man? No family should be on the street, really. But in capitalist society, capitalism breeds competition, and you have to compete financially for housing. How do we get to a point where you don't have to compete for housing? Well, we're not Saudi Arabia, right? Where we're pushing out so much oil, people don't have to pay for electricity and housing, and they don't have to pay for stuff like that, right? Over there, right? But we're not in that situation over here, right? Unfortunately. OG Patrice says a lot of them suffer from mental illnesses. Yes, they do. Some addictions and alcoholism as well. Others are just on hard luck. There are also prostitution and crime due to poverty as well. It is a lot. Yes, I know, man. Patrice, I used to work out there, and I used to work out there on Venice Beach. Yeah, I spent a lot of time out there on Venice Beach. A lot of time out there in Westchester. A lot of time out there in Santa Monica. So I know. Seen a lot of different type of homeless people, man, and they come from all different walks of life. You'll see grown women, you'll see grown men, you'll see families out there on the street out there, and they just live in moment to moment. You think you living bad, living paycheck to paycheck? They live in moment to moment, hand to mouth. You know what I mean? I used to see one family that was out there, man, and they would make the kids dance. They would play music and have the kids dancing and take money for like that. Well, on Venice Beach, you see everything, man. Everybody's doing everything, man. You'll see dudes on skates with guitar. Yeah, Skid Row ain't no joke. I used to work down there too. And but now I'm talking about West LA. But I'll get into Skid Row in just a second. So yeah, so you see everybody out there on Venice Beach. You know what I'm saying? Dudes hustling people on basketball courts, people hustling people with the 3-car money. It just people. Everybody got a scheme or a scam going on out there on Venice Beach, right? Outside of the normal storefront people out there that got their own scams going, you also got people out there on in the alleyways. In the alleys, they got the little scams going out there on the alleys and out there on the boardwalk, right? But the point is, the health is not healthy anymore. It's not healthy anymore. Like it used to be, like when I was working downtown, I would ride my bike all over downtown, on my breaks. I would ride my bike all over downtown. But then it came to a point where they would just close down areas, the areas where they got all the missions at, on San Pedro Street with like from First Street all the way up to about 9th, 8th, and 9th or 10th Street on San Pedro. Sanitation would just, the police and sanitation would just have to close it all, just lock it out, and they would have these huge fire hoses where they just rinse everything down, right? They just rinse everything down, man. They put out some kind of foam or liquid or something out there on the streets, out there on the walls, out there on everything. And they just rinse the whole block down. They just rinse everything down, right? Because it just gets so bad out there, man. It gets so bad, and if you stay out there, you can breathe all that stuff in. That's where all the corner where all the missions are at, or most of the bigger missions are right there on the corner of 5th and San Pedro out there in downtown LA. That's where you see that is like the heart of Skid Row, right? You see everybody, all of the people that's homeless are hanging around out there until they can come in and get a room and everything like that. So, and then I think the missions are the missions where they actually feed people are a little bit farther down. I'm not sure where exactly where the missions are, because it's been a couple of years since I've been down there. But yeah, man, it ain't no joke. You talk about people on hard times. People out there. It's people out there. I mean, families out there. Single moms, single dads, families, little kids out there, grown kids. I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. But that's, like I said, the underbelly. So I used to work on 7th and Figueroa, 7th and Figueroa, right? And so we used to stand out front of the store. And so at 8 o'clock, you see this huge migration of homeless people moving towards Broadway Street. They would be going east on 7th Street or all the streets, 7th, 6th, whatever. It's a huge migration because the police would tell them, look, we're going to take you in to custody if you don't leave. So they would make them go, and what they do is they tell them you got to go east of Broadway. And so they sent them all down. That's where Skid Row is, east of Broadway. Why? Because the tourists are coming up here. The tourists are coming out. And so we don't want the tourists running into the homeless. So they would sweep them all down to Broadway Street, right? Where, you have all of the, what they call that? They call that the alley, right? The alleys, where it's just all kind of different little shops where you can buy everything from everything down there, right? You can buy anything and everything down there, right? And I mean everything, right? So they just send everybody down there, right? It's like a 10-block swap meet, right? Shout out to the homeless, man. Shout out to the homeless. One day we was making fun. Me and my coworkers were making fun of this dude. He was a homeless cat, and we would call him James Brown because he kept walking by. He had his hair like James Brown. We called him James Brown. And so one day we was making fun of the dude, and he stopped and he said, "You know what? Why you guys making fun of me?" And we said, "Cause man, you look like James Brown." He said, "You guys don't even know my story." So we said, "What's your story?" He said, 5 years ago, I was trading stocks on the stock exchange. We go, "What?" He said, "I was making 80 grand a year. I was trading stocks on the stock exchange." He said, "I came home, I found my wife in bed with my best friend. I started drinking, and 5 years later, here I am." Blew our minds. Just blew our minds. Right? So I think about a week later, right, I seen the dude again, right? I said, "Man, let me do my man a solid." So what I had did was, I would to try to save money, I would when I ate dinner, I didn't have no children at this time. So when I ate dinner, I made something. I would bring the leftovers to work for lunch, right? So I had I think I had about 6 or 7 chicken legs and some potato salad, some other stuff I had that I brought to eat for lunch. So I saw a dude walking. I said, "Hey man, I'm gonna do this dude a solid, man. Let me give him some. Let me give him some of this chicken." I said, "Hey man, I got something for you. Hold on." So I went back. I went back and got the chicken legs, man. I came back out. He looked at me like, "What is this?" Like I thought you was gonna give me some money. I said, "Man, those are chicken legs, man. They good, man. I mean, chicken wings. They good, man." He said, "Oh, thanks." Ah, here she is. Here she is. Okay, y'all. I can stop long stroking y'all because I got Dr. Bay here. And so I'm going to bring her up. Everybody, round of applause for Dr. Bay. Dr.
Hey.
Bay, how are you?
Hi. Oh man, when I tell you this technology challenge is not even an understatement.
Oh man, oh man.
And,
I'm glad you got it because I know you had a lot going on. So I'm glad you got it to work. And
yes.
so let me introduce you to the crew. This is Dr. Bay. Well, I'll put it like this. Let me let you introduce yourself to the audience out here.
All right. Hey guys, Dr. Truth Bay from the Federal Health Commission, and we focus on policy, urban planning, and everything in between. Law, government, you name it, advocacy for the original man, as we like to put it.
All
So
right,
we have
right
a lot
on.
of
Right on.
yes.
Okay, Dr. Bay. So now I wanted to talk to you. I wanted you to tell us pretty much what the situation is and what you guys are doing to try to help the situation. So, what is the current situation? Is it as bad as they say it is, or
Yeah.
what's going on?
Well, it's actually worse. So, being from Los Angeles, LA is literally the homeless capital of the world. Not only
Correct.
the entertainment capital, but it is also the homeless capital. So you have a wrestle between both worlds, so to speak, in LA. And so we started in 2013 as an advocacy group in Skid Row. We were just helping people those navigate housing. So we focus more on the homeless population. And what we had discovered in the last 8 years is that there's a few handful of people that is running billions of dollars into LA County, LA City, and the state of California, but it's not going to services. It's not going to the people that need help. So this is why you have an explosion of homeless encampments. And if those who have seen videos of Skid Row, yeah, that's the real LA that they don't really want you to see. And so we want to send a clear message that really it is power to the people. And if we as constituents, as taxpayers, are not asking the questions, are not following up, or not attending these council meetings in your area, then many of us are left in the dark. We're just asking why things are happening, but we're not focusing on following the money so we can find that answer. And so that's what we've done as policy analysts. So we really focus on local legislation. Um, Election time is coming right now. So actually on Tuesday is midterm elections for Los Angeles.
Correct.
And a lot of these politicians, when they ask you for your vote, what are you getting in return for it?
Correct.
So when it comes to Democrats and Republicans, people have to understand these two parties are the same evil coin, just two different sides.
Correct.
So if we really want to change our community, it has to start from within. It has to start with your neighborhood, with your neighbors, with the people across the street from where you live, your community center of the block. It really is power to the people. But nowadays, with the internet and how we communicate, everything, people have more of a stronger relationship with Facebook than actually with people in front of them. And so we've created this Gen Z type of young people who really do find freedom on their phone, who find freedom on TikTok, on Instagram, and they have lost their communication skills. So what this society has created is a digression of how we are supposed to be. We need people. We are, created to be together with others. But this society has really created a self-centered type of environment where a lot of things transpire, but there's really no big change. There's really no big change. So what we're trying to do this year specifically is to empower our people. And I'm, Black first. So make no mistake of who I fight for,
Okay.
who I speak for, who I represent. And
Okay.
so I've been asked in the past, to run for office, 43rd District or District 8 City Council or District 2 County Board of Supervisors. But in all actuality, my interest is really creating something new. And that really is 100% power to the people centered. So we're working on putting a collaborative effort with a group of other sisters and some brothers who have nonprofits and for profits, but forming a collaborative where we can actually obtain grants and obtain land. We can't do anything if you do not own land. So you have so many empty properties, and this is why I challenge my people to look in your neighborhood. And if you see an empty lot that's been abandoned for more than 5 years, 10 years, take note of it, find the address, send it to us, because we want collectively to focus on our federal government. Federal government. So this is why we're called the Federal Health Commission, because we are the voice and the go-between, the advocates between the people and your local governance. And what we have discovered, unfortunately, in the state of California, it's just like many states, it's not really empowered, especially for Black citizens, for those who deem themselves of African descent, born on American soil. And so this country, the way that it has started, how this governance has started, it didn't start with us in mind. So why do we expect equal treatment or even respect at minimum for a government that started with, white slave owners? And so here we are with these constitutional laws that don't reflect protection for Blacks. Now, if you really look at the Constitution, the way that it's written, it actually gives permission for the United States to disrespect and to actually give no rights to Blacks. We are not citizens according to how this Constitution is written. So what we're trying to do is really form a seminar and have a platform where we can create a circle so people can ask questions on how exactly can I make effective change in my community. And so Juneteenth is coming up. And so we're trying to utilize that platform to do that. But I thank you so much, Clarence, for inviting me today
Right.
to discuss on a
Right.
very important issue. And
Yeah.
we really got to wake up.
Yeah, because I was just discussing this. I used to, I worked downtown for many years. I worked up in West Los Angeles for many years. Matter of fact, right around the corner from, well, one building over from the federal building, where the FBI and all of those guys, CIA and all those guys were in that building right there on uh, Wilshire
Spring
and
Street for
no,
Wilshire?
Wilshire and Sepulveda. I'm talking about
Okay.
in West Los Angeles,
Oh, right, right.
and it's right there. And then right across from that is the
Veterans
VA.
Building. Mm-hmm.
Is the VA. So a lot of homeless cats out there, a lot of homeless
Yes.
encampments, because a lot of those homeless out there are vets. And
Right.
same thing. I used to work also in Venice Beach, and holy smokes, Venice
Hmm.
Beach is almost as bad as it's almost as
Skid
bad as
Row.
Skid Row, right? So
Yes.
so,
And that's
it's
everywhere.
bad,
Yeah.
right? Right. Now my question
And
to you,
hmm
Dr. Bay,
yes.
what's the problem with let's just do a simple logical walk. What is the
Yeah.
problem with having all these people homeless? What's the major issue with that?
Well, it starts with, I can only speak about Los Angeles, and this is what I want my native Los Angelinos to really take heed and do the follow-up research. In Los Angeles, there's only one entity that receives all of the homeless funding. Homeless funding is measured in something called COC, Continuum of Care. And what that translates is that the federal dollars gives each state a certain amount of homeless funding through COC, depending on how many homeless people are in your state. So
Okay.
as you can see, many of the homeless that comes here from other states, they settle in California, especially in Los Angeles, because there are no resources maybe in their other states, or because the rules are very lackadaisical here. So if we don't know how the process of funding happens, then that's where we keep asking the question why. So in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority is the name of the organization that receives 100%, not 50%, not 70 or 90, but 100%. So what that means is that if you look up LAHSA, which is the acronym for the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, um, LAHSA.org, you can actually see that there is a group of people, and it's maybe 400 to 500 employees. Okay, so they started out in 1993 because the city of Los Angeles and the county of Los Angeles were blaming each other for the homeless crisis. So they created this third party entity that acted like a government agency, and LAHSA was born. So LAHSA started out with maybe 100 employees, and a lot of these are suburbanites. These are people that maybe never experienced homeless before. They graduated from UCLA or USC with social degrees. And so what they do, they take jobs in places like Skid Row or homeless organizations, and they determine how these homeless organizations are getting funded. So LAHSA is a very, very, very important entity. And if we don't know who they are, then we're going to constantly wonder why this homeless crisis is out of control. So we have been in part of LAHSA's meetings, giving them data as far as outreach, because LAHSA does not do outreach and engagement. That's one of the reasons why a lot of homeless people don't get services or aren't aware of the services that are out there. A lot of times they say, oh, a lot of these homeless people, they don't want housing. They don't want housing. But when you look at the 70,000 people a night, at any given night, is the amount of average of homeless people here in Los Angeles, 70,000. So when we have 70,000 people or more that are neglected or not getting services, then we have to bridge the gap. So it really is us as a taxpayer, as a constituent, as a citizen, to
Okay,
ask
so
the question, um, to really have LAHSA do their job. So that's why you have this homeless crisis. The solution is to have another entity aside from LAHSA to receive federal funding that actually do grassroots, boots on the ground work, and really rounding up the homeless and putting them in shelters, putting them in permanent housing with services, because mental health is a number one issue as well.
okay, so what actually does this LAHSA? What do they actually do? Do they just donate money, or what do they do?
So LAHSA is an entity that really is all about the administration and homeless resources. So they do everything from funding other organizations. They're like really the homeless gods, so to speak. So no homeless organizations such as Volunteers of America, PATH, um, First to Serve, Salvation Army, a lot of these homeless organizations cannot function without LAHSA's permission or resources. So that's why LAHSA is such an important entity, because as I said before, they are ahead of the pyramid when it comes to homeless resources,
Okay.
right? So what we want to do, and what we have been speaking on since 2019, the last 3 years, that a lot of organizations have sued LAHSA. There was even a federal judge, Judge Carter, that actually demanded LAHSA to fund, especially the homeless in Skid Row, to remove the eyesore, so to speak, of those who've been chronically homeless. So they also, were sued by Los Angeles Homeless Outreach League, which is a huge nonprofit that put LAHSA in, I would say, call them out on their responsibility in housing the homeless. And so organizations like ours as well, you got smaller grassroots organizations that are ran by African American men and women, and they are the ones that are the least resources to be given. And that's a big problem, because African Americans are overrepresented when it comes to homelessness. They always say we're about 13% of the population, but yet we are 40 to 45% of homelessness. Same thing with
Holy
the prison
smokes.
system. Yeah. Same thing with the prison systems. When it comes to persons of African descent born on American soil, we have always been property. We have always been labeled as the workers. We have always been labeled as the bottom of the totem pole. So when it comes to resources or even trying to get equity for us to rebuild our communities, it's we're not recognized. And so this is why we have to really have a bigger movement and have an educational forum where all hands on deck. We really are partially to blame for a lot of the resources not coming to us because we're not standing on firm ground. Some of us have tried and given up. Many of us are not unified. We are the only group of people that really is, every man for themselves, not by on purpose, but by design. And so that's why it's important that we know our history, know how slavery has really affected how we can come together today. But if we know this and are able to consistently work together in a platform to meet and say, you know what, let's consistently pick a day out of the week and come up with these solutions and come up with a funding resource, because you have a lot of wealthy African Americans. You look at the celebrities, look at the basketball players, each of them have a means to actually give back in their community. But the problem is, and Hollywood's a perfect example, that Hollywood, they have a clause in their contracts that a lot of celebrities cannot fund their communities the way they want to. And so that's the underlying problem. But it is going to come to a head. Celebrities have to come to a point where they say, you know what, am I going to be a slave to this contract and the money, or am I really going to serve the people? Because at the end of the day, you cannot take your money with you in the coffin. You cannot take anything with you. So I want to bring up Dave Chappelle, the incident that happened with Dave Chappelle about a couple of weeks ago when he was performing at the Hollywood Bowl. There was a gentleman named Isaiah Lee who actually was currently charged as a felony attempted murder that attacked David Chappelle on the stage. Now, how did he get past security? People are asking. Hollywood Bowl is really, really heavy on security. So how did he get past it? Understand that when the destiny comes, and I don't condone what Isaiah Lee did at all, when it comes to attacking anybody, that is unacceptable. But the circumstances was this. A lot of people don't really know the underlying story of what really happened. Dave Chappelle is one of the biggest icons, especially for the Black community. Very well respected. He has stood up against these big corporations that's trying to, peddle him and his money. Great. So he stood his ground. Great. And he definitely made a point that, listen, this is my intellectual property. Either you respect it, or he tells his fans, do not purchase unless he has 100% creative backing on that. And that alone is applaudable. That alone is something that is so uplifting to see that you stand your ground and know your worth. But what I didn't disagree with was the aftermath. After Isaiah Lee was detained, he was stomped on. He was, rightfully so. I'm sure at the moment that the attack on Dave Chappelle, or the attempted attack on Dave Chappelle, did not go well with his fans or his celebrity friends. So you had D.L. Hughley as well, and I forgot who else was there, but the statements that, yes, Jamie Foxx, and the statements that were made stating that Chris Rock also was stating that he was attacked by Will Smith, and Dave Chappelle made a comment, oh yeah, at least you were attacked by a celebrity, but I was attacked by a homeless person with leaves in his hair. And Dave Chappelle asked Isaiah Lee, why did you attack me? And Isaiah Lee said specifically, my grandmother was getting gentrified and he's a homeless youth. He actually is 23 years old, is a product of Los Angeles homeless shelters. So when people don't really engage with the homeless, don't engage with the people that really do want housing, label everyone in one box, oh, it's mental health, or they're a bum, or they're a drug addict, or they're a prostitute, or they don't want housing, basically being dismissive, then that causes those who really are homeless, by design, or professionals. You know, you have ex-doctors and lawyers who are homeless, but yet the homeless bucket is really a one size fit all. So once you use that title homeless, you're labeled as a vagabond, as a bum. So they don't really care about your background. And so
Agreed.
that's where I believe the changes should have happened. The conversation that we reached out to Dave Chappelle, really actually reached out to his publicist and as well as his attorney, Gabriel. And we asked for people like Dave Chappelle to fund housing projects, to really engage with the foster care system. There's a lot of good that you can do. Like Tiffany Haddish is a perfect example. She was part of that product, but look at where she is now. She's literally an A-lister. And I thank God for people like Tiffany Haddish because she doesn't forget where she comes from. She often volunteers at the Comedy Factory and gives back on Thanksgiving, on holidays, helps the homeless. And also Queen Latifah, just found out Queen Latifah has a housing project that she's doing for her own hometown where she grew up in New Jersey. So we're reaching out to her as well. So we want celebrities to really do their part and know the other side of LA and really put their money where their mouth is, honestly. Because if Dave Chappelle honestly can get charges put on Isaiah Lee, yet knowing the background that Isaiah has, he said he wanted to bring attention to the plight of gentrification, to the plight of homelessness. And so that message should be what should be taken away, is what people should walk away with. Say, oh, okay, well, if he got past security, understand that God is in control of a lot of things. This is a spiritual battle. And so Isaiah Lee, again, we don't condone his actions, but the reasoning behind it needs to have a bigger platform, needs to be spoken about. So that way we can bridge the gap between mental illness, build housing, really have the people who need help off the streets. And then we'll see a difference. But Hollywood cannot just shut their eyes and their ears and their beings from this problem that is literally right next door. So
Well,
I
I
do
want to
want
ask.
to change.
I appreciate that, Dr. Bay. I just want to ask a question,
Sure.
not to get off the topic or anything, but you can understand why they would, have some issue with the way this young man handled that situation.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
Did do you think he had any other option other than running up on stage and attacking Dave Chappelle to
At the
bring attention
moment,
to the situation?
at the moment, knowing the Los Angeles shelter system, knowing the abuse in these shelters, knowing that he has been in several transitional housing and they don't give mental health. They don't give help. So they allow mental illness to run rapid. As a matter of fact, those who want to do holistic healing, it's really just about prescribing psych meds. So I know for a fact the background that Isaiah came from. That's why I can speak on a different perspective. That's why I think it's important that we do have a conversation with the celebrities that are in Hollywood specifically on how they or what knowledge do they know about the homeless population. It's not just saying, oh, these are homeless people, they're just drug addicts, they don't need help. These are somebody's family. Isaiah is somebody's son. Isaiah is somebody's brother. He wasn't born with a mental illness. And so we have to understand that there's a source to a lot of issues. But if we don't address the source and just surface blaming, then that's where I believe, again, like I said, I don't condone what Isaiah Lee did at all, but I understand where he came from. And he took an opportunity to bring attention. And believe you me, he got attention. And the right people who are listening, other than condemning this man, he's going to get charges brought to him regardless. But at the end of the day, Dave Chappelle should respond to the organizations that are asking him and other celebrities to help with permanent housing, to help with putting their name on urban projects, to really help organizations who are doing grassroots to be more involved. Because if we're going to make millions of dollars in a certain area, we have to give back to that community that we're making money off. And how many people come to Hollywood and make it and you actually give back to the local communities. I don't recall any celebrities in coming to South LA, to my hood. You know, they may do a day, a project. They may have cameras around them saying we're giving back for one day, but they don't come back again. We don't have solid programs for our youth. You know, we do have basketball players, football players that come once and again, a charity event with cameras. But the other 364 days of the year, where are they? Where are
Okay,
they?
I have a question for you, Dr. Bay.
Sure.
Okay, so we want these people that live in they basically live on the other side of the universe. I mean, basically from where we are
Mhm.
down here in LA, they live over in West Hollywood or West LA or what's that place Calabasas up there. They in Malibu. They live in a whole. They might as well live on the other side of the universe, right?
Right.
What is the mechanism by which you are going to try to get them to try to do some of the things that you're saying? Because I agree it would make things a lot easier and better if they would participate in it. But how would you? Because I don't what I don't see happening is we making it a moral issue and them saying, well, because it's a moral issue, I'm going to do this because I morally should do this. I don't think their publicists are going to let them do it. I don't think their lawyers are going to let them do it. I think it
No.
has to be more than just a moral plea. So, do you guys have any plans on putting something together that would kind of make it a little more easier for them to participate, right?
Absolutely. So, for example, Leimert Park, Juneteenth is coming up. So
Okay.
we have two events. If you are, Dr. Umar Johnson actually came to our event a
Right.
couple of weeks ago. This was El Hajj Malik El Shabazz Day, which was a celebration of Malcolm X.
Correct.
And so we do have events that we are reaching out to their publicists to come out and really do some type of speaking. For example, the Super Bowl, you have Mary J. Blige, you had Dre, you had Snoop Dogg, you had a lot of these musicians that we reached out to, but they're not responding. So if they're not responding, then the issue is not really important to them. So we're going to stay consistent. So Juneteenth, June 18th and June 19th, and then we have the National Black Political Convention in New Jersey, August 4th to the 7th, in which we'll be implementing law. We'll be implementing a new bill, really giving power to the people. It's not an overnight thing. It really is just being consistent. And so what we are doing is that we are going to constantly use social media to reach out to our people that we definitely want to be a part of. Then they may not hear it the first time, the second time, the third time, but eventually they can't get away from what we want to do. And so the Federal Health Commission and the Kingdom Warriors Foundation, along with other organizations, we try to have a social media presence so that way they can know what we're doing. So we're connected with the hip hop fraternity, Ken Ivy. So if you like to see how ways you can help, you could always log on to the hiphopfraternity.com, where music and artist development is the main foundation. But behind the scenes, we have an educational department which focuses on urban planning, on things just like this. And so we also have a book that I'll be launching coming at the end of July, called The Day of the Messenger. And so this will lay out everything of the history of what homelessness and the history of slavery, the history of how we became to be. And we have to make a conscious choice to really have weekly meetings, in which we do. We have a lot of underground meetings, and we don't really become public as often unless we're inviting people to an event, which June 18th in Leimert Park. I do invite everyone to come out. The 18th and the 19th will be something very special. And if you're not familiar with Leimert Park, 4339 Degnan Boulevard, it is one of the last Black neighborhoods that's really trying to hold on and trying to not be gentrified. Unfortunately, you do have a lot of powers that want to be. that are sellouts and that they don't want Black neighborhoods to thrive. As you see with Tulsa, Oklahoma, how that history never really came back to itself. Tulsa, Oklahoma is a perfect example how we did have thriving neighborhoods, booming businesses, Black owned everything. But, we were such hated on that point that it didn't last. So we are doing our due diligence to reach out.
Wait, Dr. Bay. We got to say it right. It's not
Yes,
that it
sir.
didn't last. We were viciously attacked and brutalized out of that situation. Let's say it the right
Absolutely.
way. Let's say it the
Absolutely.
right way. Also,
Yeah, that's right. That's what I meant. I mean, I didn't want to go into details because
yeah.
it's very
And I
emotional.
appreciate you trying to protect me, but no, let's just say it how for real how it is. But let me say
Yes.
this about Leimert Park. Leimert Park is right there on Crenshaw, at the corner of Crenshaw and Vernon,
Burning.
right
Yes,
there.
sir.
Go in, you can see right there, and they always have some type of event going on over there. So go on over there and see Dr. Bay on June 19th. If I can make it, I couldn't make it last time, Dr. Bay, because unfortunately, a strong soldier in the Nation of Islam, he passed away, and so
Oh,
it was my brother.
okay.
I had to attend his funeral, but I'll try to make it the
Condolences.
Juneteenth thing if I can. All right,
Absolutely.
sorry to interrupt
We'd
you,
love
sis.
to
Go
have
ahead.
you. Absolutely. We would love to have you. And so what we are doing is that we're going to have a table specifically on HR 1857. And we also have these sustainable goals. So the sustainable goals is a United Nations term, and it has 17 goals in order for us to really have a better world. And so we are the ones that have to activate these goals. And so we're goal number 16, which is peace, justice, and strong institutions. And that focuses primarily on law. I can't stress enough that we as Black people, we have to get in tune with our local jurisdiction. You have to know who your city councilman is. You have to know who your county supervisor is. You got to know who your state governor is, your Senate, your assembly, your Congress. We cannot have the excuse moving forward that we're not into politics. That is the most damaging statement that we can do because politics determine how we live. And so, because a lot of the parents aren't into with politics, the children aren't into the politics. And yet, we have such an imbalance when it comes to resources to the Black community if we do not sit at the table at these city council meetings and know what the agendas are. I go to them all the time. Just like this past Friday, I went to LA City Council meeting. They reopened back up before they were doing virtual meetings. But once they opened back up, it was like a ghost town. It was maybe four white people sitting in the front talking about save the dolphins. I've seen nobody talking about housing, nobody talking about incarceration, injustice, foster care youth. It was really sad. So I do encourage if you want to attend on a smaller level to come to LA City Council meetings. They are every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 10 a.m. at 200 North Spring Street. This is where your voice needs to be heard. Make time, family. Make time to go down there and let your voice be heard and know the process of public speaking. Know the process of public comment, of reading the agendas. We cannot walk around with shades and blinders on because we are the ones that constantly make money for everyone else. There is no other race. And the concept of race also, what is race? When you think about it, race is really who gets to the finish line. So why are we as a race always on the bottom? We can never get to the finish line because we have to do our due diligence to use the information that's before us and activate it. If it's not for yourself, then it's for your children. Do that for your children because our Gen Z generation, they have no critical thinking bone in their body. They have no concept of problem solving. That's why the very minute things is astronomical. That's why suicide is such a high rate when it shouldn't be. And this is not the type of students. This is not the type of youth we want to bring forth. We want to bring up strong babies. We need to bring back trades. They need to get back in the wilderness. To lose their phone for a second, even if it's for a day, to have some type of discipline where they're outside of a different environment other than what's on the internet. That is so important. So what we're trying to do is partner with people like Dr. Umar with his Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey School. I know a lot of people are asking, he's been doing this for about 8 years, 10 years or so. When is he going to open this school? Trust and believe. If you haven't gone to a speaking engagement that Dr. Umar has presented, then I really need people not to speak on it, because the way that this brother is maneuvering and trying to have us unified without utilizing the grant dollars, he's really trying to have us come together and financially fund ourselves. Then again, the grants that are out there, the millions and billions of dollars of funding that's out there, a lot of it is our money anyway. A lot of us are, we pay taxes. You understand? It's not like the government all of a sudden had this $1 billion bag that they just got from everyone else and then we have no part in it. Absolutely not. We are the ones that gave the governance their funding. So we have to determine by attending the city council in your town. Start with the city council. If you are an unincorporated county, then attend the county meetings. They usually, every city has a local city council or a county commissioner. And so here in Los Angeles, we have both. So I do encourage families to
Right.
please. You're a busy man.
Boy.
Yes, sir. So we do encourage those to get involved in the neighborhood councils and know your local governance. I can't stress that enough. And really, it's going to be much better from here because we have a lot more resources that we can access in order to bring accountability and funding. So writing grants is very important. If you are a nonprofit or a for-profit, always collaborate with another nonprofit. Never go solo. And I know it's very hard, especially for the Black community. Everyone is really trying to, we've been taught, each one for themselves, but we got to change that mentality and say, each one teach one, grab each other's hand and pull each other up because there's power in numbers. There's no way around that. Power in numbers.
See, I believe, I hear you, Dr. Bay. Sounds good. Sounds great. I'm just trying to figure out how can we motivate more Black people to move there. I mean, should we, in other words, what are we going to use to motivate them to do it? Should we motivate them with the end result and saying that, hey, the community's going to run better if you do this? Or are we going to have a substantive carrot at the end of the tunnel by saying, hey, if you do this, then this you're going to get this in return? How do we motivate them? Because most people are looking at it like, man, I'm just trying to survive.
Right.
Right. The council meeting, I can't worry about the council meeting. I got to pay the gas bill. That's $100. I only got $20 to my name, and it's Tuesday.
Right. And so that's understandable. All of us are going through that. Literally, all of us are going through that. But you have to sacrifice and say, okay, well, I know I got to work 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs to put ends meet on the table. But what are you feeding your brain on your times off? Are you Netflixing and chill? Are you talking gossip? Or are you empowering yourself with intelligent videos, instructional videos? I can't tell you how important it is to utilize your time wisely. Google is one of the best tools in the world. Many of us say, I don't even know how to, you can't search engine how to. You mean to tell me that we are that incompetent that you can't Google how to? And this is a lot of the parents that I given assignments to. I've been told just like 2 months ago, I had a family that was working, a mother that was working on business administration because, she has been working blue collar jobs for so long. She wanted to get her own business off the ground and she really needed to know how. So I told her, I sent her some links and I said, you want to do your 501. So these are the steps to do it. I'll even help you draft the paperwork. But when I even asked her, did you watch the video that I sent to you? Oh, no, I didn't have time. Oh, no. So, no one's not going to hold your hand to do the basic stuff. That's why a lot of our kids, they don't even know how to problem solve, because we are waiting for this this supreme answer, and really it's within you. You have to discipline yourself to say, you know what, starting tomorrow, and you got to put God first. I can't stress that enough. We cannot be walking around as a godless society. If you don't worship the Most High, and if you think that you're on your own, if you're wanting to do things and you're saying it's by my might things are going to happen, it's not going to happen. We are created beings. We are created to worship God. And if you don't believe in God, that doesn't mean he doesn't exist. I'm just letting you know that he's there. He's our Father. He loves us, and he wants us to come to him when we are in trouble. He wants us to praise him. So before I take y'all to church, let's go back to the basics. There is no real simple answer. It really is discipline. So I always encourage my clients and my people to take time one day and say, tomorrow I'm going to take an hour to look at a how-to video. I'm going to take an hour to study my local governance. I'm going to take an hour, just 1 hour, and everybody has an hour. Everybody has an hour at some given point in time, and say, I'm going to study. Start out with where you live. If you live in South LA, who's your local governance in South LA? Google it and study that, and then find out who their contact information is, and start from there. Start practicing email. Everyone should have an email. There is no excuse for us in 2022 for us not to even have the basic tools, which is an email address. Even if you're not computer savvy, have your grandchild or have your children help you create one. But if you have a smartphone, you must be able to have an email address, access to it. It's those type of tools that I say that we all should have. Always have your phone fully charged. You know how many of my kids that go out there in the street and their phone is dead? Like, why? That should never be excused. It's just like a warrior going into the battlefield without his armor. That's unexcusable, because now you have your camera phone. Now you have your information in your hand. Utilize it for the greater good, because at the end of the day, there is not one other race that's going to hold us by the hand or even give us a leverage of equity if we don't start doing the little things to empower ourselves.
Okay, Dr. Bay, I appreciate that. Now, I have a comment here, and it's a little, how can I say, on the left side of Brother Umar, right? So I'm going to read that. Are you okay with that?
Absolutely.
Okay. It says, please, Umar Johnson is a scamming clown too busy to talking with Snow Bunny. He's a hypocrite. How about he gives back the millions that he took and he got from the people? All right. Now, I personally don't know Brother Umar. I have never met him in person. Of course, I've heard good things about him. I've heard some not so good things about him. That's why I really want to talk to him personally. I can't make those comments. I can't make any comment on a man I never met before. That's me. So that's me. Now, just in your opinion, do you agree with any of that stuff that has been said about him that I just said that from the comment, or do you have a different opinion of Brother Umar? I have no opinion because I haven't never met the guy.
Right. And so he has a public number. And if you want to really ask Umar what's happening, go on his platform. He's having, in September, he's having the second annual FDMG in Delaware. A lot of the work that needs to be done, it takes a village. Not everyone has those tools at their hand. So those who say that he's a scammer, have they really gone to his site? Have they supported? And how much have they donated? Have they submitted or emailed to him, or even know what it takes to open a school? A lot of people, it's a lot. When you have an all-Black purpose and you make it known that you don't want to integrate at all, there is absolutely zero support. Zero support. Now, when it comes to getting grants for the school, he doesn't want to do that. And that's one of the things that we are going to work with him to apply for. because these grants is owed to us, owed to our children. Because I know him personally, that I know the struggle that he has, and it really takes a village. This man really not only goes nationwide or internationally to speak on and empowering the Black people, but you must not take it for a grain of salt. You don't have a lot of Black diaspora leaders that's been really on a platform to try to empower. Nobody's perfect. He's a human being like everyone
Of
else,
course, of
but
course.
but the mission that he's trying to accomplish by having all Black dollars support an all Black school, it really takes all Black people involved. You got a lot of people that say he's a scammer, but have they really been involved, and had they donated themselves? If they donated themselves, then give me a call. Tell me how much you donated, and I'll let you know exactly how that money is going to be used, how that money is used.
No,
Because
man.
we have to be transparent on things. You got 90% of spectators, and only 10% of us are really doing the work. 10% of us are doing the work. 90% of us are spectators with opinions. And so if you have tried to open an all Black school, if you know that he's not doing a good job, then open up a school yourself. Try to open up a school yourself. Work with him, reach out to him. So his number, and I'm going to give it to you live right now.
All right,
So his
right on.
number is 215
Okay.
989.
Hold on. Let me write it down. All right, what is it now?
215
15
989
989
9858.
9858. Dr. Umar. Okay.
That's right. So shoot him a text and say, hey, how can I help? Or what's going on with the school?
Okay.
Reach out to him directly, because it's not easy being on a platform. And like I said, nobody's perfect. You do have a lot of King Kong consciousness that he has. He reeks of male testosterone, of empowering male testosterone. He really reeks of that, but he's using it to a way where he wants to empower people,
Okay.
and he may have opinions on how people are dating, and I don't agree with everything that he speaks on. But the work that this man is doing overall, it's noble. He really is trying to open up a all Black school, and it is going to come to fruition because the right people are going to be sent to do the work. You understand? It's not a whole team he has behind him. You understand?
Okay.
He does have a group of powerful people working with him to help develop it, but nobody really wants an all Black school to thrive. And I want people to understand that he's not trying to intermix the school at all. And that's noble because we don't have that. A lot of the all Black schools that we have, they have to have some type of clause, even if it's all Black ran. They have to have some type of clause to be welcoming for everybody. And that's one of the issues of why we don't have everything Black standing for us. So there could be many more Dr. Umars. The person who actually wrote that, there's many people that feel that way. But emulate what he's trying to do. If I ask you what you're doing, that person who made that comment, if I ask you what you're doing, are you trying to open up a school? Are you trying to open up a shelter? What exactly are we doing? We can play Q&A all day. And if you tell me that no, you're not trying to open up a school, or no, you haven't tried to open up a homeless shelter, or you don't even know your local governance, then I don't think that we should be throwing stones in a glass house, right?
I just say that if you never met the man and talked to the man, we should probably just reserve judgment until we speak to the man. That's the
Right.
way I look at it. But everybody doesn't look at it that way. So, but I don't want to make this thing about Umar. I just want to raise that question because you mentioned it and somebody mentioned it in the chat. We want to focus on what you're doing, Dr. Bay, and you, and the accomplishments that you are things that you're trying to get accomplished as far as homelessness and homeless situation out here in LA and wherever else you're working at.
Absolutely.
So now let me ask you this question. Like we said before, now if somebody wanted to help you, let's say somebody wants to help you and participate in the situation with you, how would they do that? And do you have something set up so that a person could come in and help you, or do they just have to donate money, or what? How would they help?
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing is to come out to June 18th and June 19th, Leimert Park in person. A lot of work that we do, as you say, we don't publicize it too much because it's extra sensitive what we're working on. So we don't have a lot of, I would say, fans amongst our governance, so
Okay.
we're public enemy number one to them. But what they can do, they can reach out to me directly. Our telephone number is 323-884-8583.
Hold on, Dr. Bay. Hold on. I'm an old man. I don't write fast. Okay. Hold on. What's the number again?
Sure. 323
Uh,
884
884
8583.
8583.
Yes.
Dr.
And
Bay.
so we have a nonprofit called the Kingdom Warriors Foundation. So if you guys look it up, you can see some of the work that we've done in the past. The Kingdom Warriors Foundation. And so we're a subsidiary of the Federal Health Commission. This is Grassroots. We focus on people power. And we have a Cash App if you want to donate to help build housing. It
Yeah,
is
what's your
youth.
cash out?
Our
Hold on.
Cash App is
Hold
Youth
on, Dr. Bay.
Invest.
Okay, what is it now?
Our Cash App is Youth Invest. YOUTHINVEST
All
dollar
one word.
sign, all one word, Youth Invest.
Okay.
And so if they want to help that way,
Is there a dollar sign at the end?
no, dollar sign, Youth Invest. No, Cash
Okay.
App sign.
Okay. All right.
But our Cash App is Youth Invest, and we take advocacy very seriously. We have done a lot of policy changes behind the scenes for LA County, a lot that people may not know about. Advocacy, especially for Black and Brown youth. We are currently changing the housing process. So housing and urban development is actually changing the way how they're funding entities, making it much easier for grassroots to apply. So for 8 years, since 2013, well, almost nine, since 2013, we have been a major force behind the scenes when it comes to policy and data for LA County. So if anybody really wants to be involved, we welcome you. We welcome you because it really does take a village, but we must have everyone do their part. They must do their part and study the council, their local governance, look at identify the empty buildings, and create a community, a collaborative with your neighbors, and have them come up with a plan. So if you have an empty lot in your block and it's been sitting there, you know, would it be good to turn into permanent housing? Can you build apartments on it? Can you build a youth center? Can you build an access center for mental health rather than just looking at this big old piece of land? Or is there an abandoned property that has been closed down? It's really up to us to be proactive. And so I can't stress that enough. Once we have everyone do their part, then we won't exist. We don't need to exist behind the scenes because we only exist because there's so much discrepancy amongst Black population that we have to be advocates for those who are in prison, mental health, homeless, low income, you name it. We're behind the scenes, sort of regulating things and making sure that they know their rights and to navigate the resources to our people.
Okay, me and another lady, one of my subscribers, we did a shout out to OG Patricia. We did a stream about a couple of days ago about mental health, mental illness. I want to get in there in just a second, but they want me to ask you, ask Dr. Bay if she knows Dr. Janice C. Sprar.
Sounds familiar. Janice Spar.
Maybe Janice Brar. I don't know. I don't know the sister myself, so they just asked me to ask you this. But if you don't, that's fine.
What's this? Yeah, can they spell the name for me? Look this
I
up.
think it's JANICE, and I think Brar is BRAR.
Oh, Brar. Okay. Mm-mm. Doesn't
Okay.
sound familiar, but maybe they can tell me what's happening.
Yeah,
Let me see.
Janice Seabrar is I guess it's a Y at the end of the E.
Okay, Janice. Oh, Janice Brar. Okay, I see. No, so somebody tell me what's the significance of Janice Brar. She's a
I
jazz singer. That's what I see up here.
maybe maybe she may be involved in some of the same type of things that you are speaking about.
Oh,
But
okay.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Um, what what is you guys what are you guys doing to try to help out the mental illness uh that population that's out there now?
Hmm.
Um, what types of things are you doing to recognize and also help those people out there?
Well, what we need right now is access centers. So, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of empty land out there, and what we're trying to do is to build an access center, an acute care center. Acute care centers is the go-between for those who need severe mental health assistance before they even get housing. Now, one of the problems is you have a lot of states, as I'm saying, they're dumping a lot of, they're giving them a bus ticket or a train ticket to come
I've
to
seen that
California.
happen. I've seen that
Yes,
happen.
yes.
They're
So
giving out
that's
bus tickets, and the LA is like, wait a minute, hold on.
That's
Yeah,
right. Hold up.
yeah,
Wait a
yeah.
minute. But this is one of the things where we have to hold it accountable. The access centers that we're trying to create, it all is all along the same line of creating housing for the homeless. So
Okay,
we do need a collaborative, and this is why I say if you have empty land in your area to identify it and email me. Actually, I'll give you my email as well.
okay.
But I want you to text me, give me a call, let me know so we can meet and I can tell you how we can work together. There's a specific formula that is out there in order for you to obtain that property. And the way that you can obtain it is not through usual methods.
Ah,
So, our main purpose in the next 6 months is to really force the hand because we already seen our local governance not really caring to build these access centers. But these access acute centers specifically is to take care of the severe mental illness.
okay.
And once we have a location, it's not going to be like a long-term facility. It's going to be treatment. So if a person is, for example, is on trazodone or Wellbutrin or whatever psych med is prescribed to them, that they'll be able to access that, but they'll be in a loving, caring environment that will help them transition into mental wellness. And we have trained physicians, we have a lot of care workers. We don't even use the word caseworker or case management. We use the word care management because case is so disconnecting. It's like you want to catch a case. It's very disheartening. So we want to have something called care management. And so we meet every week. We have private Zooms, and if you're interested in joining the Zooms, please, like I said, reach out to me, text me, let me know, and I'll send them to you. We don't publicize a lot of our meetings because, as I said before, the sensitivity of the work we're doing, we have to go underground.
Okay.
So we do have solutions if for those who are reaching out want to know, because it really does. We do expect everyone to play their part when it comes to accessing or creating an environment that's safe for the community. So what we're trying to do for these empty properties, we're putting out something called reverse eminent domain, RED. So what that is that eminent domain is the process of what the government has used to snatch and seize properties all throughout the United States. So
Correct.
they were able to build schools, hospitals, facilities. That was a good thing. So eminent domain is a legal term for communities to build the necessary buildings. What we are going to do, eminent domain gives power to the governance. What we're going to do is something called reverse eminent domain, RED, and that goes along the line of redlining. Redlining was the way that they prevented Blacks from living certain areas, which created suburbs for other cultures, which is what pushed us to the hood. So we
Agreed.
want to utilize this concept by having the empty properties that have been sitting in your neighborhood for more than 5 to 10 years. I want you to identify those properties especially. Those are the properties that we are going to demand. But when we say demand, we're going to do it in a nice way, request it with a letter to the powers of the people that are responsible for holding the land. But underlining it, it's going to be a demand. So you must submit yourself to the process, whatever that may be. But you first got to know the process. So this is why we have to have seminars. And when we have outdoor events that we invite you to, please make it a point to come. Make it a point to reach out to me and say, hey, where is the next event going to be? Or how can I join? Then I'll know for a fact that you're real about it, because the solution is there. And trust and believe, the old governance, the old ways of doing things is going to be obsolete. You know, COVID has really reset a lot of things and gave us an opportunity, whereas we wouldn't have before. So the smallest thing is to identify the empty lots in your land. We have 9 questions that we will send to you. So if you're interested in really becoming part of the movement, then send me your information, and then we'll email you these 9 questions. These are 9 questions specifically that answers questions concerning your governance. It's very simple, like what state you live in, who's your local congressperson, who's your local governor. And once you finish answering these 9 questions and submit it back, then we'll know that you're ready for the next step. But if you don't answer these 9 questions, then you might as well continue to be a spectator. You know, we need people that are really about it in this circle. And so we welcome everyone who really is sick and tired of being sick and tired. And trust and believe, 6 months from now to a year from now, you won't see the same issues that we're facing, especially in the Black community.
Got you. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
so you guys have a way for people to help. You guys have a plan,
That's right.
but there's some of the stuff, some of the plan is sensitive, so you can't mention. Excuse me, you can't mention it. Some of those things outside of a face-to-face meeting. I get that, but you guys do have a plan for how you want to tackle a lot of this stuff.
Right. We have a website. We have a website, but we don't, like I said, we don't publicize our website. That's why I say you reach me directly, and I'll send you that information as well. Again, 323-884-8583. Just shoot a text, say, hey, I want to join, or hey, I want more information. And then we will do a questionnaire. You send us your email, we'll send you information packet, and then you work from there. Because we want to filter out the looky-loos. We've been doing this for a number of years, so we kind of know who's really there to be part of the movement and who's there to be agitators. And we don't have any more time to really have infiltrators that really are not about the movement. We want to focus 100% of our time with the youth, upbringing them while we are developing places and housing, which is why we're focusing on housing. A lot of our good soldiers out there are homeless. You understand? So that's why we want to really curb the stigma of what homelessness really is, and really have a different way of looking at it. Unhoused. It's unhoused because the system, the very few people that's in power or be placed in power are the ones that are misappropriating funding. And a lot of people don't want to ask questions. They don't want to poke the bear. But our job is to poke the bear. We've done that already, and we're continuing to do that. So we're not afraid of asking the questions or calling someone out if they literally, or indicting politicians. You know, so there's a lot of work, like I said, behind the scenes that we have done that we are going to continue to do, but we wanted to do it on a broader scale. And so our purpose is to create a new government. By this time, maybe in the next 4 years, it could be established, because a lot of us are still slow in learning and really grasping the concept and really trying to disconnect from this so-called matrix. We are born in a governance that we don't really ask questions, you know? So we want to change the mindset of how we think and not give power to a governance, but give power to you. You, in Article 1, Section 2, are the power. The people is the power. It's something called the Article 5 Convention, Article V Convention. And this is based on the 5th article of the Constitution, where it tells you that you have 2 ways. You have 2 ways of actually changing laws. The first way is giving a bill or something to your local government. So you have your assembly person or your congressperson. You say, hey, you know what? I want to raise the I want to lower, let's say, raise the drinking age or lower the drinking age from 21 to 18 because you have kids that can vote. You know, they're considered as adults on 18, especially a lot of black and brown youth, black youth. They're considered adults when they want to be tried as a criminal, as adults. So if they're looked at as 18 as adults, then we want to raise that to 21. So if you have that in mind, you say, hey, my local congressperson I'm writing a letter saying this is what we want to raise the adult age. So can we, and that's something called lobbying. We would like to see a change in this. So you support that politician, of course, by voting for them. And, you know, if you have a lot of money, lobbying, that's how the politicians get paid. And so those bills that don't have a lot of money behind it, that are empowering for the people, do not get passed. It really is about who has the biggest paycheck. That's why these politicians do not serve the people. They serve interests. And once we know that, then we're able to see things differently. So the second part of the Article 5 Constitution states that the second way we can change laws is having a group collaborative. And if you want to change the law tomorrow as a collaborative, you have to have a certain number of people on a petition submitted and the laws change. Did you know that, Brother Clarence?
I did not know that.
And that's what they want us to continue to keep us in the dark, because that alone tells you that it's power to you. You are the power. There was one politician, I believe in 2010, that actually brought this Article 5 convention point to a hearing. And believe you me, that idea was killed before it even got to the Senate or the House floor, because they was like, shh, don't you ever mention power to the people, the Article 5 convention. People are going to start getting ideas that they can have power themselves. Now they don't think that we're gods anymore. They don't think that we're the ones that can bring them the salvation. That's what they think, you know, unfortunately. So do we want to continue to live under ruling like that, or do we really want to have autonomy and have our rights upheld and corrected? So that's where we say we want to have platforms and have discussions just like this on a weekly basis.
Okay. I mean, Dr. Bay, I want you to say everything you need to say, get it all off, because what happens is a lot more people will watch this on a replay. They'll come back in later and they'll watch this. So is there anything else you want to get out there and put out there about the organization, about whatever you want to put out there? You know, take your time.
Absolutely.
I'm not rushing you. I'm just saying I want you to take your time and just put out whatever else you want to put out there.
Absolutely. So we actually are working on a podcast, sort of like a court show podcast, where we're actually relaying a lot of the issues, the bills that are not passed, how to know your governance, like ABCs of knowing your governance. Those are the type of things that we'll be putting out. So please stay tuned. Our website again, intelligencematters.academy is one of our websites. And then we have Let It Go Foundation and Here to Help CDC. Those are our surface social equity websites, but the deeper governance, bill changing websites, that can only be given to members who actually join. So if you want to know how to join, again, you can give us a call, 323-884-8583. And I want to hear from you. You have a lot of young people that are in jail. Especially they're not given due process. So we have a section where we advocate for those, especially in Fulton County, Atlanta. We have maybe 3 candidates who have been just young black kids who have been in jail for over a year, hasn't seen a judge, don't even know why they're locked up. And we have many, many horror stories like that. So we have an advocacy group that really is focusing on holding the local governance accountable. So if you have an issue of any kind, incarceration, youth resources needed, housing. We really have the solution to build up your urban platform, but you must reach out to us. And piggybacking on Dr. Umar's school, you know, that school will open. Eventually, it will open. But in the interim, do your part. Create a curriculum for all Black students. That's what I want everyone to do. If you had donated to any platform and you haven't seen the results, let me know. Let me know, because we are ones to hold anybody accountable for the actions that they take. We want to have a governance reflecting Blacks specifically. So no shade to Hispanics. I have a lot of Hispanic friends. No shade to the Caucasians. No shade to Asians. But we must have a platform empowering to all Black to lift us up so we can at least have an equal playing field. And it really takes a village. So my closing remark, I really do want people to encourage themselves to please take that 1 hour a day to focus on your local governance, to YouTube city council meeting in my area, to go on a website and Google who is my local governance, type in your address, type in your zip code, and in it, it should pop up all of the governance in your area. Who's your congressperson, Senate, council person. Look at the agenda. Find out when their next meeting is. They also have mental health meetings. Who's your Department of Mental Health organization? Here in Los Angeles, we have the Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health, also known as DMH. So DMH director, his name was Dr. Jonathan Sharon. He was actually one of the greatest leaders, and he actually retired this month because all of the issues that the county has been given him, he had a lot of ideas, a lot of programs for Black neighborhoods specifically. They would not allow him to implement a lot of these changes. So he's been in the department for 4 years, and he just retired because he has a heart condition. And I'm saying the county is, man, I could have a lot to say about the county, but we're going to keep it on a positive note. And I want to encourage my family to please understand that the power is within you. If you do not activate the knowledge, and if you don't have the knowledge, you ask God for wisdom. That's how I got this far. I'm not intelligent by default. Went through a lot of stuff myself, you know, but I had to learn I had to make a choice. Am I going to stay depressed, or am I going to follow the money? Or am I going to try to make a change? And there is a way. It's not hopeless. There is hope, but you have to activate it. And I look forward to hearing from you, my family, Black family, to reach out and let's work together on some new changes. So I look forward for that. And again, I want to humbly thank you again, Clarence, for having me on your platform and even allowing this information to be disseminated.
Can we have you come back, Dr. Bay, at another date, and maybe you can update us on some other things that are going on?
Absolutely.
Would that be okay with you? Okay.
Oh yes.
I think I got another. I got another question in the chat. Will there be more housing projects for the homeless in LA coming forth soon?
Well, there are a lot of housing projects, but they're not going to the homeless. I'm gonna tell you what's happening right now. The Ukrainians actually have a higher bid than the natives, and this is why politicians want to silence me, because they're not trying to let you know what their real agenda is. There are a lot of housing projects being built, but it's not going to the natives, which is why we have to know your local governance. The way that this can be deterred is that if you attend a city council meeting, and you will hear a lot of the housing projects that are happening, but it must go to the families who are born and raised here. It's just natural. But if we don't hold them accountable as a group, if I go down to City Hall and I only see 2 or 3 of us, I mean, we have to really have hold responsibility for ourselves. So if you want to know what the housing projects are, it's going to happen with you. So the housing projects that you want to see in your neighborhood, you can develop it. This is why I want you to reach out to us so we can have a collaborative effort, so we can give you the blueprint on how you can establish that in your neighborhood. So again, take the time to look online, identify the empty properties, know your local governance, and then we can start. We can be in business. But do not contact me if you haven't done any of those things. If you're
Okay.
looking for a quick fix or magic wand, you could open up a Harry Potter book. But there's no magic here. It's real life. We're talking real data, and it really is power to the people.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Bay. I appreciate you for stopping through. I pushed her back to
Okay.
6 o'clock, and I appreciate that she's still hung in there with me. I appreciate that. Um,
Yeah, it
uh,
wasn't trying to let me in. I was like,
oh man,
oh,
oh
anyway,
man, I'm glad
name
you
of
finally
Jesus.
got
Okay.
in.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a settings on your phone or whatever, but I'm glad
Yeah,
you were able to get it worked out. All right,
sure
Dr.
did.
Bay. So I appreciate you. I'm going to pull you down. Thank you so much for stopping through, and I will be in touch with you in a little while. Okay.
Thank you.
Shout out to
Peace
you.
and
Thank you.
blessings.
Sir. Peace and blessings. All right, that was Dr. Bay. Holy smokes. What do you think about that? Did she hit a home run? Holy smokes. Um, this is our information up here. If you want to reach out to Dr. Bay, uh, this is our number. If you want to cash app her, this is our cash app. What do you guys think? Um, you know, she's out there fighting. She's out there fighting. Now, my issue with her is the fact that how I think she's right. I mean, a lot of these celebrities should be tapping in, but my issue with her is how she gonna get them to tap in. I don't. Me personally, strong performance by Dr. Bay. Thank you, Quantum. Strong performance. Drop the link, OG. Okay, you know, I'm gonna get you, girl, but I'm gonna drop the link because I'd rather be tired, talk to you, girl, and push it out than to have you fussing at me. Let me tell y'all what y'all don't want. Y'all do not want Patrice fussing at you. Trust me, you don't. You think you didn't get a word in edgewise with anybody else? That's my sister. Yeah, strong performance. Thank you, Quantum. Strong performance by um, Dr. Bay. Now, whether you agree with her about Dr. Umar or not, like I said, I can't speak on Dr. Umar. I don't know the brother, man. I have to talk to the brother first. I'm going to, after the stream is over, what I'm going to do is I'm going to text him, like she said. I'm going to text him and ask him, will he come on tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon for his time? I think he's in Philly. So I'm going to ask him, can he come on and can we have a discussion? And we'll see. I see there's a lot of guys that just, I mean, they're using Brother Umar for target practice, right? so I don't know either way. I've heard good stuff about Dr. Umar and bad stuff about Dr. I never really had a problem with Dr. Umar. Of course, we as men, we're going to disagree on different things, but I never had a personal issue with him. I never had a personal issue with because I don't know the brother. So I would ask us to all reserve judgment until we actually met and talked to him, or you actually talk to somebody that actually knows him. Then I can understand you probably having a deeper understanding. But just hearing YouTube videos, that to me is not, where I could, it's highly suspicious, but you never know, man. People can spin, like me and Patrice just said last week to y'all, people can spin narratives and you don't know what's going on, right? And you can make a crazy person look sane and the same person look crazy. You know what I'm saying? If enough people get on your bad side, they can make you look like you are this villain, right? I've seen that happen, so that's why I'm slow to making a judgment on somebody that I never met before. All right, all right. We got Sister Patrice coming up here. My sister, what's going on with you, girl?
Hey, what's going on, Brooklyn? Can you hear me okay?
Sound beautiful as always. What's going on? You know I was about to close the show down.
No, and I just want to come up here because I wanted to, also thank, Dr. Truth Bay as well. I know she
Yeah,
was definitely dropping some gems. She was
yeah,
definitely talking about a lot of the things that we talk about when it comes to how important it is for us to vote locally and vote on the side of the politicians that's going to get the agendas in the Black community done. So she was touching on those things by saying you have to go to these city council meetings. You hear me talking about these things all the
And
time.
see, and you know what, Patrice, she talks a lot more. See, like she wasn't as fluid as she usually was. If you face to face, she's not holding back. You know what I'm saying? Like here, I think she was trying to pick and choose her shots. But if you get into a face to face conversation with her, she's really going to drop a lot of good information on you. So I want to say that because I know a lot of people might be thinking, man, she didn't really say anything. That's because she's on this platform. If you're in her face, she's gonna drop a lot of information on you. A lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
'cause I can tell she has a wealth of information. I can tell she
Yeah.
knows what she's talking about
Right.
how the political side of it is when you're dealing with
Yeah.
the politics of nonprofit and trying to get things done in the Black community. It's
Yeah.
always like pulling teeth for the
Yeah.
most part. So I do understand what she was saying in that point. And also the reason why I was asking her about Dr. Johnsy Bra is yes, she's a jazz singer, but she's also has a nonprofit out in LA too. She works
Okay.
with homeless women out there. And I was
Okay.
that's why I asked her, did she know her? But
Okay.
yeah, I am interested in and definitely on how to go about like looking for some land to build some type of homeless housing. Even and from what I'm hearing her saying, it doesn't matter where you live, that it's the same process where you can do these things. If you find empty lot that's been empty for 5 or more years and start looking into it, the property, the address, who owns it, and how you can go about going to these council meetings and presenting that and starting a nonprofit of your own to
Yeah.
have something built, in
Yeah.
your community, whether it be a mental health facility or a homeless, a housing, homeless shelter or something, even an addiction
Right.
advocacy organization, like start something in your community. So I will definitely be looking into that and reaching out to her. But she was definitely dropping some gems. It seems like she is out there in her community in LA where homelessness and mental illness runs rapid.
Man.
In the state of California, it is number one when it comes to that. I've done research on LA myself, and that's why I know, I know people that have fed the homeless down there on Skid Row and things of that nature. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
familiar with the LA area, and I know what the Dr. Johnsy Bra, the works that she does
Yeah.
as well out there. But I would love to have a conversation with her later to find out. I do agree that we need to get more involved. We gotta start. I know we don't like to say, we don't like to get involved in politics, but it is literally come down to this with our people. We are losing on so many sides of the spectrum when it comes to our culture and our community. And if we don't get up and do something, then nobody else is going to do it for us. So I definitely agree. I want to thank her for uh, coming on the platform, and thank you, Brooklyn, for even having this sister on, just to talk about those things. I don't know Dr. Umar myself. I can't speak personally, and so I would love to see him on your platform so we can ask questions, right? So we can
Right.
try to see
I
where
mean,
he
we're
is with
pretty
having
fair, right,
this
Patrice? We're
bill.
pretty fair.
Absolutely. I
Okay.
mean,
Right.
I would love for us to have the conversation and talk to him about where he is with the school, what's going on with the school, and if he needs further help from the Black community or whatever when it comes
Oh,
to it.
definitely, I'm sure.
I would love to
Definitely.
see that school built for our children. I would love to finally see that happen, right?
Right.
In Delaware, that school to be built and to move forward. And I know how it is. She's right. A lot of times when you want something that's all Black, they're going to have a problem with it. That is the
Right.
truth of the
Yeah.
matter. That and because he is trying to do everything all Black, a lot of times there can be stumbling blocks, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, to be real and factual about that, I understand that part. But yeah, my thing is, it's 8 years. I think the brother do owe the Black community some answers, as to what's
Right.
going on. If you sent this brother millions of dollars, I do believe he has a certain obligation to these people that sent funds to him to answer
Of
some
course.
questions.
Of
And
course.
it would be great. It would be great to have them on your platform where we could do that. Because
Me and Dr. Bay are trying to work that out. We'll be behind the scenes trying to work that out. So
oh,
yeah,
awesome, awesome. But that's good. Yeah, because like you said, you don't want to judge the brother. Premeditated, right?
yeah,
Like we don't want to go in with the preconceived notions. But after 8 years, yes, people gonna have questions. This is
of
only
course,
natural. So
of
yeah,
course. And just
that's all
last.
I want to say, bro. Yeah.
All right, how you doing, girl? You good?
I'm good. I'm good, brother. This was an awesome, awesome show. It educated and shed some light on the homeless community out there in California and the state of emergency that obviously the state of California is in, right? Especially
Man,
it affects us more. We're a smaller part of the population, 13%, but I think she said 40% of us are homeless out there. So yes,
wow.
that's a
Yeah,
major problem, guys.
yeah,
And let's be real, you may be working, but it's so many people that are one paycheck away from being homeless. Let something
man,
astronomical happen, lose your job,
man,
get
man,
lack of funding, your
man,
unemployment is not going to cover all your housing and bills, and you find yourself living in a car easily. Like
man.
it's so many celebrities that are out there that were once homeless and living in a car. And
Yeah,
specifically, I know one to be Katy Perry. Okay, and she was
okay.
about to have her car repoed. She was living in her car before she, found fame out there in LA.
Yeah.
And this is the
Steve
thing.
Harvey is another one.
Yeah, and this is the thing with me with a lot of the celebrities, because she's right. I'm in entertainment. I've been in it for over 20 years. It was certain things that I couldn't do because I was bound to that contract with
Oh
Fox. So
yeah,
she's
oh yeah,
absolutely right. There are celebrities that they literally, once they get the record deal, the movie deal with all of these big companies, Universal television stations, radio stations, etc., she's right, they have it in a contract where it's certain things they cannot do. That
right. And
she's right on.
especially involving us, right?
And
Involving
yeah,
us in the black community. Yeah,
involving Black community, and
yeah,
she's right about that. So I did want to solidify that. So to say that to be true, but it's so many of them that especially went to LA, went to Hollywood with that dream. A lot of them were homeless before they made it big, and then they get big and they have these contracts and they can't do anything back for the
yeah.
homeless community that they once were in. So that
Miguel
that is
Nunez,
facts.
another one. Yeah,
Yeah, yep, yep. I heard him tell his story about
yeah,
him, coming out to LA from North Carolina and being homeless
yeah,
for so long before he
yeah,
made it big as an actor. It's
yeah,
so many stories, and you would think that, freely that they would be able to do this. But she's right. Queen Latifah is building housing in New Jersey. I think Ti is doing something in Atlanta, but again, just think if more of them could do it, because a lot of them are
yeah.
so limited. They're
It would be
limited by the contracts. But just imagine that
yeah,
all of the Black entertainers that are A-listers and B-listers in Hollywood, if they all could do something and give back into whether it be their hometown or where they see it the need be the most in LA or wherever, and give back on a grander scale. If they were allowed to do this, then it would be a much better place. There is no reason why in the world that we live in one of the richest countries in the world and we have homeless people. It's just absolutely, it's no reason that should be. So that in and of itself tell you that something is wrong.
yeah, yeah. Shout out to Dr. Bay. She got a lot of work ahead of her. So shout out to everybody that's even trying to help out these homeless people. Shout out to all of y'all. And check out Dr. Bay for yourself. See if she's pushing a program that you can get with, then go over there and get with her. You know what I'm saying? Get with her. Seems like she's a very sincere lady to me. So go ahead and get with her and see what's happening. Uh, anything else, Patrice?
Now that's it, y'all. Let's just get up. Let's go and show up. Let's go find out who your local councilman, your local politicians are in your communities, man. Like she said, go online, get their email, get their phone numbers. Call their offices. Go out, show up to the meetings. It's important, and get involved, guys. That's the only thing. That's the only way we're gonna get things done.
All right, y'all. That's OG Patrice. I'm gonna pull you down, sis. All right.
Good
I'm gonna
talking
close
to
out
you.
the show.
Salute to your panel you
As
had up here,
always, man.
Dr. Truth, yourself, and also salute to the chat, of course.
And thank you for all you were doing in the chat, not only in this stream but the stream before. Appreciate you, sis. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely, no problem. All right, bro.
All right. Peace. All right. Dallas Patrice, you know, strong performance. Let's see. Let's run it back. We had Dr. Bay on, strong performance. Strong performance. Maiden voyage, strong performance. I think she came out and said what she could. You know, there's some things she'd have to tell you face to face. So she did the best job she could based on the situation. So, you know, if you want more information, call her. Clarence, you said, is Dr. Bay perfect? She even said she wasn't perfect. She said nobody's perfect. So I don't know. I just met Dr. Bay a couple of weeks ago. She seems like a very sincere sister to me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, go and check her out for yourself. Go and check her out for yourself. To me, she seems like a very sincere sister. A sister that really is, her heart is in what she's trying to do. So, you know, but you know, and she has a very looks like to me, she didn't say this to me, but looks like to me she has a well-established relationship with Brother Umar, right? You know, that's what it looks like to me. Okay, so if somebody's gonna throw rocks at Umar, of course she's gonna say, well, this is how I see him. This is how I see him. I see this part. I don't see the part you see. And I see the other part of it where there's external factors trying to hold the brother back from accomplishing the mission. Right? Okay. So that's what she said. But like I said, check all these people. Check Dr. Bay out. Check Dr. Umar out. Check all these people out, man. Don't just take, you know, them at face value, right? They sound good. They look good. Dr. Bay's beautiful lady, right? But you know, don't just take her word for it, right? Go see what she's about. Go see what she's talking about. Go do the homework she gave you and see what she tell you after you do the homework. Then you know if she for real. She'll know if you for real, and you'll know if she's for real. But I'm gonna try to text Brother Umar right now and see if we can get him on the platform tomorrow morning, man, or real soon, so that you know we could talk to him. I'd like to talk to him while it's fresh in my mind. After talking to Dr. Bay. But Dr. Bay came on, maiden voyage, home run, hit it out of the park, right? Who else came on? Patrice came on. As usual, solid performance, right? That is, I'm telling you, that is the only person that can tell me drop the link and I'm about to walk out the door. She's about it. She's about it. That's the only person that can say, hey, class, drop the link. And I'm like, but Patrice, I'm walking out the door. I know, drop the link. Okay. What am I going to do? Because Patrice is the kind of person, man, you want that person on your team. You want her on your team, man. You do not want Patrice upset with you. All right, so but she's still gonna love you, but she's gonna be upset with you, man. You don't want that. You do not want that. All right, so anyway, shout out to OG Patrice. Okay, so y'all saw it. The homeless situation, y'all saw it. Now, Clarence, we don't know about what to do about homeless. Here it is. Here's her number. There's her Cash App. There's her phone number. You can call her directly and talk to her, and she's gonna give you her website and all that other information. So, ball's in your court. If you're really interested in helping out the homeless, or if you're saying, you know, I don't got time to go to meetings and everything, but let me help her with a Cash App. You can help her with a Cash App. The Cash App's right there. You can help her with a Cash App and just say, hey, Dr. Bay, here's $20, here's $50. You know, I can't go to the meetings because I got my lifestyle is all over the road, but you know, here's something for you guys to push you guys along. Especially grassroots. Let me tell you what the word grassroots really means. Grassroots means they are locked out of government funding. That's what grassroots means. Grassroots means that if this sister was to go to the government and try to get grants and stuff for the government, they would laugh her out the building. Why? Because she's trying to do stuff specifically for Black people. they'll laugh her right out of the building, right? So that's what the word grassroots really means. I've been in this game a long time myself, so I know what the word grassroots means. That means the government is not giving you no money. That the people, just the hearts of the people, is the only thing you got to pull on to get funding to do a lot of this stuff. You got to dig in your own pocket a lot of times just to make stuff happen, right? But you know, shout out to all of the grassroots out there, Dr. Bay, Omar, all of the rest of them out there that's trying to make changes, make righteous changes, you know, in the name of helping Black people to try to do better. Shout out to all of them. But you know, if you want more information about Dr. Bay, call her. If you say, man, I can't get involved right now because I got so many other things. I'm coaching a football team. I'm taking my other child to piano practice. I don't got time to really get involved. Okay, drop her $10. Drop her $5 in a cash app. All right, y'all. Everybody did a great job today. Everybody in the chat did a great job. Everybody on the panels did a great job. Everybody did a great job. The old man is very pleased with what he saw today on both streams. The stream before this one and this stream with Dr. Bay. It was outstanding. Everybody did a great job. I know you guys, some of you guys don't not feeling Umar, but you guys were still very respectful. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, we will see y'all in tomorrow. I think about 11:45, 11:30, somewhere in there, and we will have the Black History Minute. We will have the news, the hit parade, rescuing Black boys, the job of the week, et cetera, and then we'll get into it. If we can get Brother Umar to come on, we're going to just do that all day. Anyway, I'll contact him now, see what he say, and then, you know, we'll take it from there. If not, we will have something for you. All right, y'all.